chances are, if you looked at all 10,000 years of Prince's material, because he's just recording so much, there's like 100 songs in there that sound really similar and have that similar feel and maybe some repeated lines and things like that because it's just so much material. So he didn't need all that. And maybe none of those lines or songs even made it to the public, but they were in there and they were part of his musical process and like practice and all this other stuff to make really good whatever the few things that he did really well that he wanted to put out in the public, those were all there for that. So he's like working on thousands of things, and then once in a while is like, that's a good one, and that's a good one, and this is something I want to do, so I'm going to try doing it. And then while he's trying to do that, he does like 10 other things, like records 20 other songs on tour, goes home, finishes the album, like that type of more that type of slushy. It is sloppy in a way, but it's more like just the equanimity of this does not need to be refined to such an extent that it's like perfected. Like it doesn't need to. I don't need to reiterate or iterate this like 20 times because the 21st time I do it, it'll be just as good as any of the other 20 times. So I can trust myself that like when it comes to a scene where this chunk that I pulled out of another novel because it was just like didn't really need to be there, but it's really cool. The scene that I end up writing when that moment comes up is going to be as good as that chunk I pulled out. So I don't need to like consider it or like have it in mind or save it and like make sure I take note of it or whatever. It's just it's in the oven of ideas, but I'll make it good when I come to it. So like that kind of ease with excessive amounts of content and knowing and trusting that whatever I end up doing now is going to be it's like I'll know whether this is something that it's gonna you know in a year if this isn't in the novel or isn't something that's like refined and published or whatever it's whatever, but maybe it will be, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So just do it. Record the song. Record the song. Record the song. Write the chapter. Write the chapter. Write the chunk, and then eventually just be like, okay, now here's the novel, and I can cut all those out and just put what needs to be in the novel in there, and yeah, and then move on to the next novel because we've got we planned to 30. I don't need to make World 9 Crushed by Rockets in the Current like the perfect World 9 Crushed by Rockets in the Current. It's going to be as good as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of trusting that the repetition is just adding up with like skill wise, and then when you want to do something, you're going to be capable of doing it to a degree that's quite good, and then having that equanimity to let it go and whatever, and then also um like trusting or knowing that you can grab things that are like half done, or you did once, and then bring those back into the mix at any point, and work with that.
Yeah. Like that's yeah, mixing the Prince excessive production stuff slash mixed with sloppiness, but also it tails back to kind of enjoyment and excitement of like, if I'm enjoying the process now and I'm excited for doing things, just that alone is going to make the stuff good because I'm excited to do it and I'm enjoying it. And if I'm enjoying it and I'm excited to do it, like chances are it's okay at least. Like it's at the very least decent.